Today we are taking a step back into the wild format to explore an archetype that I am a big fan of historically, and that is Treant Druid. So Treant Druid in wild recently has been built around the new Hamuul Runetotem card, which is the Imbue legendary from the newest set. So if you have not encountered Hamuul, so Hamuul Runetotem is a start of game effect. If each spell in your deck is nature, imbue your hero power. Repeat this for every 2 spells that you cast. Now, what is the imbue hero power for Druid? It is, of course, Blessing of the Golem, which is just a 2 mana, summon a 1/1 plant golem, and every additional time you imbue your hero power, the stats go up by +1/+1. So 2 2s, 3 3s, 4 4s, you know, the usual Druid green man scaling kind of thing. So as you can guess, the deck is full to the brim with some very valuable nature spells and also a Treant package with stuff like Sow the Soil, Treenforcements, Witchwood Apple, all the usual mainstay Treant producers. But then we also have some payoffs in the form of Overgrown Beanstalk, Aeroponics, and the very powerful board buffing tool Cultivation. On top of the Treant synergies we have going on, we are also playing a ton of spells, so we are also utilizing Umbral Owl and also the Arcane Giant, which is a 12 mana 8/8 that costs 1 less for each spell you've cast this game, and the Owl has a similar thing going on, except it's a 4 mana 4/4 rush, costs 1 less for each spell you've cast this game. So we are casting a ton of spells and ramping up our hero power until we can finish the game with giant green men. And that is pretty much Imbue Treant Spell Druid in the wild format. If you want to take this deck out for a spin, I will leave the deck code down in the description. And if you enjoy Hearthstone content like this, a subscription would go a long way. Anyway, let's get into some games. Got a Paladin, of course, because we are playing wild. Maybe we can be a little faster than them. I think this isn't necessarily being faster than them, but I like the look of this. So let's try out this hand. Okay, we have turn 1 6/6 of stats. And they are on probably Holy Wrath. So we'll see how we fare against this deck. So let's go Treant into maybe a Treant into maybe an additional Treant. Let's see how far that gets us. We are up to a 2/2. Not bad. Slightly better than their hero power. And they are going to go for a showdown, which is unfortunate. Is it worth it to coin, or do I just get out a 2/2? I think just a 2/2, just to save my coin for maybe something that's better. I'm just going to go hit their face and call it a day. Because I think they have to attack into my 3/3s. How insane is Showdown? This card's insane. Hopefully they don't have anything too scary for me. I imagine their 3/1s are just going to my 3/3s right now. Going turn 1 triple Treant is pretty good for Cultivation, but we're still a ways away from that being relevant. Hopefully we can find some sort of like Discover spell this turn. Or Living Roots. So I think I'm just going to go some 1/1s. Maybe hit that button. And hit that face. Cool. Not the most impressive hero power I've gotten with this deck. With a couple more Discover spells, you can get kind of crazy with it. And there's a very well-designed card. The Timeout. I think I just need to use this to draw a card, unfortunately. And I think that's on get some random spells mode. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. We'll end the turn. Hopefully we can find some sort of token producer next turn. If I can find Witchwood Apple, I feel pretty good. I don't feel pretty good about that. Blood Treant's not bad. So we'll go Treant. Hero Power. Cultivation, I guess. This guy is highly annoying, because I do have to hit it. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. I have an AoE spell for my Swarm deck, so that's not the best look. So maybe I'm looking at like an E.T.C band manager for something. For sure something. Okay, they're going to be taking a little bit of damage this turn. And I have an owl. Maybe it's a good turn. Maybe it's a good turn to dirty rat out something. If they have like Polkelt. Okay. That's also not a bad hit. That's pretty relevant if they do get Ceaseless Expanse in their hand. Now they can't get it back in their deck. Okay, here comes Zephyrus to ruin my plans, per usual. So they are kind of just on Polkelt, Holy Wrath, or Bust. I think that's how this deck works. Shadow Flame will take care of most of my board, and then we'll need to break their weapon on some minions. But they, of course, are a Reno deck, so they're probably not too worried about that. Perfect. Okay. So we get to juice up our spells a little bit. So this will cost 6, unfortunately. I think I'm just going with this. And then a simple hero power, and now I am one board buffing spell away from winning the game. But if they have like Reno Jackson or Lone Ranger, I am not doing super stellar. You know, there's Lone Ranger. Good old Fun Ranger. Natural Causes is a spell I can play. I'm going to actually... Let's play this, just to get an extra little bit of imbue value going. Now, if they produce a really wide board, I can feel silly about that. So this is Refresh. Okay. Is there any draw that gets me lethal? A Discover spell could, of course, discover lethal, which is everybody's most fun way to win a game of Hearthstone. But it does look like my opponent is going to get to turn 10. So they can do their Polkelt Holy Wrath thing. Let's throw out an 8/8, and I guess deal with this 4/3. And now let's see if we are dead to Polkelt Holy Wrath in their top, was it 13 cards in their deck?
Initializing descent.
So they're dredging. So they probably have Holy Wrath, so they're just trying to blind flip something that deals massive damage. And they have a Molten Giant. Okay, that does contest my 8/8. And they are going to go for a fresh little hero power on my noggin. Lightning Bloom. I think the correct thing is, so if they have another Molten Giant,
Couldn't have done it better myself. I wonder.
So if they have,
No one will
not right.
believe this.
If they swing 8, so this is always happening. I'm always clicking the button because this was not going to be imbued anyway. The question is, do I hit their 8/8 or do I hit their face and try to set up lethal? I think I have to hit their face to set up lethal. We'll see if I regret that. Is there any way I can discover lethal or get lethal? I can always discover lethal if I draw the right cards. If they do clear me... Oh, that's annoying. Oh, so I need to discover damage. Okay, that can discover damage. Deal 4 damage to the enemy hero. Let me just see their life total real quick. That does say 3. And get this Highlander Paladin right out of my face. Nice. Was not expecting to win that game. I thought that Titan was going to lock things up. But I was saying, since like turn 8, I can discover my way out of this. Bit of a Warlock opponent. Probably Demon Seed, if I had to have an educated guess. I love cards that discover cards. Always gets me excited. And those seem like late game cards. Okay. Might save Blood Treant for an Aeroponics turn. Ideally, I have like 2 trees going. There it is. The Demon Seed. Okay, let's see what we can discover right off the bat. Ooh, that's a phenomenal one. Couple 1/2s. And the turn. Next turn I have a pretty decent turn. Turn 2. I might just elect to smack into that. So let's do Horn of Plenty. Are these 1 mana guys? Sure. I can be convinced that this is a good play. And then we can coin out another one just for fun. And is it ever worth it to... Yeah. Get it out there. Why not? And you know what? Let's just go for the full tempo. We're already locked down next turn. We can't do much. Quickly giving up on that. Save this for Aeroponics angle. So they're probably going to Spirit Bomb my 4/4. That makes sense. Oh, I can't Hero Power next turn. You know, we're just here for tight plays. That's all we're here for. Okay. Maybe we can find something off of this. Horn of Plenty could be good, but we could also deal 2 damage to their 1/2 or their 4/4. Or we can have a Horn of Plenty for next turn. No, I think it's this. Now the question is, do I deal with their 4/4? Kind of ruin their Raise Dead pool. Kind of like that idea. Get rid of that 4/4, shove a bit of damage at their face, make my Aeroponics cost 1 billion mana. Gonna go for a tap. Kind of surprised to see that. They're going to mass production. Kind of a downside of deploying those early is you kind of just keep drawing into them. Okay, so Nature Study will find me some pretty hot garbage, actually. I think I'm going for Pounce. And I kind of don't want to waste that mana discount on Pounce, but also it would imbue my hero power. Nah. I might need to Aeroponics next turn for 4 whole mana, which does feel like trash. But that might be what we just need to do. They're going to go for a Soul Freeze, which will deal them 2 whole damage. And they do have a Broom. Okay, for another Flesh Giant, that makes sense. Okay. I'm glad I saved that mana discount, so we can start drawing some cards. Let's Pounce, I guess, into a 7/7 and clear their 1/1, I guess. And we'll end the turn there. Notably, if they even leave a 5/5 open, I do win the game. Looks like my opponent is going to elect for me not to win the game. That's kind of smart. Oh, and they're going to elect to gain 8 life in my face. Okay. Not ideal. And Overgrown Beanstalk is a way I could get out of this game. A pair of Arcane Giants. That's actually not terrible. And like a 7/7, I do need to unfortunately gain them 8. Okay. We do have a vision for next turn. And that vision is Solar Eclipse into Cultivation. If I even have a board next turn. Does not look like my opponent wants me to have a board next turn. They're going to tap their Tamsin right in their hand. And I'm going to draw E.T.C for my Dirty Rat. Agreed or no? Okay. No was the answer, turns out. Let's go for Symbiosis. So this will be 3. There's a good chance I should have just hero powered. We'll take that just for like some sneaky damage. We'll see if that matters at all. So we'll go with a Solar Eclipse, Lightning Bloom,
Time waits for no one.
make a 9/9, and also Cultivation. And we'll see if that's enough. You know, we'll just put our feet up and see if my opponent can't slay me. They shouldn't hit Crystallizer because their Raised Dead pool is very full of garbage. We will see if this 4 sneaky damage ends up mattering at all. Does it matter? No. So this is 21, 25. Am I one off? No. I never am. Because I always knew I was going to find lethal. And if anybody at home doubted me, that's a big mistake. Never count fruit out. Because sometimes I can be a total luck sack and win games I have no right in winning. Another paladin.
I fight in the name of honor.
We'll see what this means for me. It's impossible to know what this deck can be because Paladin has about 100 playable decks at this current point in Wild's journey. I kind of just want to like full keep this. I'm really discovering that I'm very not picky when it comes to this deck. Like it's just like there's cheap cards in my hand. I'm gonna keep it. And no questions asked. There's my Renathal. There's my Hamuul. And my opponent elected not to show me their Hamuul or Renathal. These are some stinkers, huh? So this will be down to 4 mana next turn. This is 2 mana.
Time waits for no one.
Am I just gonna summon some Dreadsteeds next turn? I think I will. Not a great look, but I think I will. A coin? Or a gold panner. Okay. Gold panner into adapting into a stealth minion.
Keep on panning.
2 damage to all minions. Okay, not a good look. So yeah, just some dready guys. Swing 2. So this is probably going to be some Call to Arms deck. Never mind, it's Secrets. Okay.
Keep on panning.
So that's probably Oh My Yogg if I had to guess. Hydro. Okay. I got Oh My Yogg. This Innervate is going to turn into actual factual counterspell. Am I just going to be doing 2 mana draw 3 this game? Yeah. Doesn't feel great, but that is what I'm doing. And I'm actually going to save this Lightning Bloom, I think, to pop off a little bit next turn. Unless I think a 3/3 can help me. I mean, next turn I do have Natural Causes for 2 mana. No. Let's just send 2 damage at their noggin and call it a day. I actually feel like this might be a good matchup if they're just like Call to Arms, aggro Paladin. It's like I feel like a lot of ways that deck wins is by cheesing out games with Weblord of the Nerubian variety. Seal of Blood, okay, they really like the idea of keeping this Panner alive.
Keep on Bannon.
So I think a good idea is to understand what my opponent is doing and deal with their board and present a board that's a little bit difficult for them to deal with. And that might mean producing a 4/4.
This is your moment.
Or just wait and let your opponent play the game for you. And, yeah. Cool.
Malfurion versus
Another druid. I've been seeing this, like, dragon deck run around recently. I'm not sure how good it is, but it seems sick. This hand is sick. I love a good Blood Treant. I love a good turn 1 double spell. Maybe even a triple spell. Yeah, that's a full keep. That's a full keep in my book. Anyway. Okay, so they are also a Renathal deck. They are not my specific Renathal deck. They're probably just some, like, ramp pile, if I had to guess. So let's studies. Maybe into the card that I run in my deck. And then we... Actually, I kind of like some 1/1s. Let's get some ants going. That's my turn 1. Not bad. Not bad for an aggressive deck. That being said, Shadow Priest is like completely putting this start to a shame. Okay, so they're a big dragon deck. So let's see what we can find with... I think I want to do Symbiosis. Honestly? Do I want to summon a random 2-cost minion? Maybe bump, summon a random one? I think that's the move. Yeah, that's better than a 1/1. Send these guys in. So next turn, what is this up to? A 3/3? And I have one more spell until it does its thing. Double ramp out of the opponent. Then we have a horn into a refresh into a 4/4? Or just a 3? Let's do a 3/4. Let's just do an honest to goodness spider tank. Now, I would really like to find a way to buff up my board. We're going to go for double ramp, I assume. Yep, they have the dragon in hand. I think it's worth it more to do horn. And then... Okay, Frost Lotus. Let's just get a 5/5 out. Let's just press that hero power and smack my opponent around a little bit. So they have up to 8 mana. I only have 2 cards in hand, but I actually have quite a bit of value in these 2 cards. One of them discovers something that will likely discover something. And then this, 1 mana draw card, gain 5. And my opponent is going to Absolute Value Town with some Solar Eclipse. And to Take to the Skies. Okay, they have proven to be a bit of a dragon enjoyer. Let's choose one of these. Choose one, gain poisonous this turn. I kind of like this. This would be good removal for later. Natural causes. Let's just send out a 6/6 and bash in for a little bit of damage. Cool. So if they produce a huge taunt, I do have a way to get through it. And if they just combo kill me with Narrowlax, you know,
All are nourished in the
I don't have a way through that. Mm-hmm. Right. And they also have Fae.
stay alert.
Okay. So you're telling me I'm dead. Let's get some nature spells before I okay, maybe a 1-drop can get me out of.
I concede.
Well played. Well played. At the beginning of this game, did I say I'm not sure if that deck is good? It's the best deck. It's the best deck in the world.